Hello and welcome back, or just welcome to the No Reservations podcast by Kasey Anton. This is episode 43. My God, it does not feel like it's been 43 episodes. What have I had to talk about 43 times? I have no idea. But I love it. And here we are, 43. And this one is about sweater weather specials. We're going to talk about some fall menu planning. So I'm recording this and it's not quite fall yet, but it is right around the corner. So when you listen to this, we might be at the beginning or a little bit into the fall season. And that's really what I want to talk about today. I mean, who doesn't love fall? I don't think there's anybody who doesn't love fall. I'm trying to think, like, who would not love it? Especially here in New England, it's probably our favorite time of year. If you are a New Englander, you still have some nice warm days. You have nice cool nights. It's really, really beautiful. The sky's so blue that the leaves, it's amazing. Also, because people are in such a good mood in the fall overall, maybe not everybody, but for the most part, people go out more often. Fall can be a very, very busy time for restaurants in general and retail, and it can be off the hook. We've got football, we've got pumpkins, you get to pull out your favorite hoodies. Who doesn't love to dress nice and cozy? Everything about fall is just amazing, and it is a great time to make some extra money, to inspire people to come back or to try you for the first time before we even get into the holiday season, which should be a home run moneymaker for you. So today's just going to be about fall and all things fall. So other than thinking about football and pumpkins and Halloween and, I guess depending on the season of your life, fall can mean a few different things to you, but hopefully it means pumpkins and football at least, and beautiful leaves changing color and whatnot. The flavors. Let's switch and talk about flavors. So we've got apples all day long, squash, pumpkin, sage, rosemary, chestnut, cinnamon, all these fall flavors, right? I'm kind of getting back to the basics here. That's been my motto all year long, but really back to the basics, because if you're already in business and you kind of have your traditional fall menu items that go out, great. And if people look forward to it and they come for it and they buy and you make money, they're profitable, amazing. But why not take another look? If you don't really change it too seasonally, just because you're so busy doing all the other things, then maybe this is a good time to kind of stop and think and find a way to capitalize on it, because you really can. So I'm just going to throw out a bunch of ideas out there. And earlier today, I got an email from a client, owns a few restaurants in Boston, and I was showing him some things. It had nothing to do with fall, but we're showing him some numbers, some debt numbers, things like that. And he just said, he was great. He was just very appreciative that he loved working with us. He's like, sometimes you just can't see the forest through the trees. And when I come at him with a video review from a different angle, it just really helps him have a better grasp on his business. So that's kind of what we're going to do here with fall flavors. So the ones I mentioned, squash, you can think roasted butternut squash soup with sage croutons, braised short ribs, cranberry glaze. Maybe, I don't know if that would go with braised short ribs, but it was just an idea I was thinking about. Of course, you can do apples in desserts, a million apples with caramel, apple crisp, apple pie. I mean, there's so much you can do. And you don't need me to tell you that, but to show you a different lens, when I think of these things as a consumer, I'm picturing them in my head. I am picturing a gorgeous golden brown apple crisp with, whipped cream, vanilla ice cream. The visual of that is what sells it. It really does. So if you're thinking visuals too, and you can put this on your Instagram, you can put this on your Facebook, it could bring people back in. It could bring new people in. It could get shared. It could go viral, as I say, etc. So there's a whole visual component to this, as well as a great way to improve your food costs and perhaps even increase your sales. Another thing about fall is we start to eat a little bit heavier usually than we might eat in the summertime. Obviously, I don't own a restaurant anymore. I run my home with my two teenage children, And I noticed that I cook much lighter. We grill a lot in the summertime. I might do a salad with it. Maybe they'll have some rice with it. We don't really do heavy things. And I miss it. I love to eat the heavier foods. So when I think of fall, I'm thinking, oh, good. I can't wait to start making my red wine beef stew again. So stews, I mean, that's just a very simple one, but there are all different types of stews that you can make, and people would love that. And you can make that visually appealing. As a matter of fact, when I was preparing for this episode, I'm going to mention that it might behoove you to go find some plates, bowls, some serving dishes that you can use specifically for these fall specials, simply for the wow factor, the visual factor, etc. So, and I'm not, I mean, you could go through what, your look where you get your local, your plates and your china from now, or you could just go to Home Goods or Home Sense or wherever, Marshalls, or wherever you buy this, and see if you can find a half dozen to a dozen of something that has a nice fall vibe to it, so that when you're serving them, whether it's a great stew, maybe in a cast iron pot, or a dessert on a fall related dish, you get that wow factor when it's set down in front of from the customer. You can photograph it before it even goes out to them and put that on your social media. But then if, with the whole wow factor, you might get somebody sitting there who's going to take their own picture, put it on their own social media, or just tell people about it and say, that was the best, roasted butternut squash soup I've ever had. I don't know if anyone's ever said those words, but you get what I'm saying. So there's all the different types of casseroles, stews, and these usually require very inexpensive ingredients and to make them delicious. Pot pies, shepherd's pie, all of those old New Englandy, those fall flavors are just, people love them. They crave them. Not everybody's good at making them. I as a matter of fact, I'm a pretty good cook. I mean, I've been in restaurants a long time. I've cooked a long time. And I think I only just very recently perfected my beef stew recipe, because I'd say those 6 times before that I've made it over the last handful of years, it has been disappointing every single time. But just recently, I kind of went off script and did it my way, and it came out absolutely fantastic. So it's just not something that everybody can cook, or if they do, they don't do it well. So if you can do it well and serve it to them, it's just, it's a no-brainer. Get people talking. It's Instagram friendly, and the food costs can be fantastic. So just things to think about, again, when it comes to seasonal inspiration and the flavors we're talking about, but also pot pies, casseroles, stews, crisps, soups, all kinds of soups. I can't even tell you the number of times that either I'm going out to lunch with somebody or an early dinner, or I've overheard another party say, I really just want soup. But soup is like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the forgotten stepchild of restaurants, I say. It's just something that they feel like they might have to do. It's part of their, their recipe or whatnot. But actually, especially if you can get a large bowl, almost like using a pasta bowl that has a nice large lip for soup with a beautiful crostini or mini baguette or something, that could be a great seller. And the visual in this, and when I say visual, I'm not just talking about because I'm some like crazy influencer, because I can't stand that stuff. I absolutely hate social media, but it is a fact of life. I'm saying it more to the wow factor, to get people talking about your restaurant to their friends and family, and to keep coming back to you again and again. Okay, so I think that's enough about the food and giving you some food inspirations, I hope. Drinks as well, and I know I talk about drinks a ton. Hot apple cider bourbon could be fun if you have a bar and you have some bourbon drinkers that come through. A maple latte. Again, I have a whole podcast episode about coffee service. I feel like it is a lost art. Bring that back. You could do maple lattes. You could do apple lattes. There's so many great fall flavors that can go into coffees or teas. So definitely take another look at your coffee program. Spice chai mocktail. I love my mocktails, my 0 proof options. Cranberry cinnamon spritzers, just cranberry and lime. Cranberry lime might be a little bit too summery. But I'm just thinking cranberry and drinks can go very well. So don't give up. Don't stick with the same old, same old. Sit down with a pad of paper and a pen or a pencil and just brainstorm some ideas. Go on Pinterest, whatever it is that you do, but get some new ideas for fall and come back to fall with a bang. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to mention before I wrap up. Menu strategy. Another thing I love about the fall ingredients is that you can cross-use so many of them. You could do a baked stuffed chicken breast that's going to have an apple stuffing in it, and also use apples to do your desserts, your apple pie or apple crisp, apple whatever. That's so true with so many of the fall ingredients. Pumpkin, I mean, pumpkin has so many uses, as you probably know. But we've got pumpkin ravioli. We can do pumpkin soups. Then you can make a pumpkin syrup or puree to go into your coffee program. Pumpkin pie, of course, or a version of that. There's so many things you can do with pumpkin, and I feel like it's very rarely cross-utilized. So again, think of the fall flavors and think of cross-utilizing, which just is more money to your bottom line as well. And the marketing tip is I've talked about throughout this entire episode is that there is just so Instagram worthy of all these different things to create and take as many pictures, videos. Behind the scenes videos is great. Are you putting together? Maybe even some pictures or videos of going to your local orchard or pumpkin patch or whatever and grabbing a few. Even if those don't end up at your restaurant and they end up at your house, nobody needs to know the difference. At least you're there. It's just great promotional use. I would also recommend doing limited time to create the urgency. Now, you might have mixed feelings, but I actually have mixed feelings about companies that do limited time. But I kind of get it with certain things. Like, so pumpkin, I feel like Starbucks always have their pumpkin latte on now, or they certainly have it beyond fall. Let's put it that way. And it was kind of overused, but, that's Starbucks. With you, it might make sense. With your restaurant, with your business, it might make sense to make it a limited time. So that just helps people. It creates that sense of urgency. It helps people come in earlier, keep you at top of mind, knowing like, oh, I really want to go try their pumpkin ravioli or their squash sage, whatever. And, oh, they said it's only going to be here through October 30th. Then, you know what? I'm going to call up some friends. I want to go there this weekend. So it is a good time to use limited time specials for that reason, and see if it works. I mean, you don't have to, and you can always post, but you can always prolong it if you want. Like, you don't have to be married to that, but just try them. I just want you to try things and see what works for you and for your clientele. So I'm going to give you a challenge for this week. I want you to think of one new fall menu item that you can run a special, add it to your menu if you want, but I would say create a special. It could be anything. Just try one, really do some research, some fun research on it. Try one. Then I want you to make it. And I want everyone on your staff, so for maybe 3 days in a row, so you can hit every staff member. I want everyone on your staff to be able to try it. Of course, you can take feedback, but you more want them to try it because you want them to sell it. And then run a contest. So, for example, if you're going to do pumpkin pie, I want you to create a contest. I don't care if you want to give them a $10 gift card to your restaurant or whatever. You can come up with what a great prize would be. Maybe they just get dinner at the end of their shift, something like that. But give them some tips on how to sell it. Have it be a great strategy about what would it look like to sell a lot of pumpkin pies. Maybe you could say they fresh baked it this morning. The staff got to try it. It was melting in our mouths. Is all we're talking about. I know it's not going to be on the menu very long. If you want to try one or even take one home and have it later or tomorrow, I highly recommend it. So good. Things like that. And that's it. That's it for today. Thank you so much, as always, for listening, watching. Please share this with your friends or anyone you think that is colleagues that would do well by listening or watching this podcast. I so appreciate it. Stay cozy. serve great food, and I will see you next time. Thanks again.